because we're not recording. Yeah, so might as well.
Right.
Yeah, go for it.
Well, we're recording now.
So now his internet's going to be terrible.
Ready for my internet.
By the
Thanks,
way, that's
Cox.
what every teacher sounds like, which also infuriates and makes
Yeah,
it-
but I was a teacher. They sound like that in the classroom.
they all sound like robots, from that other podcast. Are you ready to start?
Yeah.
Just want to make sure before I actually started.
Yep.
This is like early. Welcome to Everyone Racers, a show designed for the world of low-dollar racing and oddball car culture. It doesn't matter what kind of a limit champ or lucky track dog league you run, SCCA or NASA, we won't discriminate, as long as you drive it hard and built it yourself. Join us each week for tech discussion, tips, tricks, news and notes in the world of amateur endurance racing, and whether it's on the spot, hella sweet, we're lucky enough, and Chrissy gives us just the tip. We're sure you'll giggle a little and learn even less. Everyone report to the paddock.
This is Chris.
This is Chrissy.
I'm Jeff.
And I'm mental.
And we are Everyone Racers. Thanks for coming back and listening to an Unhexseptium episode of our podcast. It's episode 167, and it's not Unhexseptium like you should be with our show. It's Unhexseptium.
And what is that? Oh, come on. It's the
It's
element.
an element, not a Honda. Something. I don't know. Look it up.
I believe it is a temporary element that is formed during some form of nuclear fission or fusion or
It exists for 1/1000th of a second. Yeah.
exactly.
Right.
Yes.
Anyway, if you're not driving a car, get your bingo card because that's kind of fun. Not a lot
Absolutely.
of fun.
Totally
I mean,
Hexseptium.
we're taking all the fun we can get right now. Thanks, COVID. So do what you can. So I'm going to go to mental, what you're working on first, because
Ooh.
I know what Jeff and Chrissy and I have been
Yeah,
working
we
on because
kinda
we spent a
know.
lot of time together. So mental, what have you been doing?
I've actually been working on stuff inspired by my teammates working on the Z this weekend. I finally put a new starter on the Hilux, and now with a battery and with fuel, carb cleaner sprayed into the carburetor, it will start and run under its own power. So I ordered all the tune-up materials and everything from Rock Audio. It is completely possible.
From Rock Audio? I love
Rock
that
Audio.
place.
Exactly.
Give me an amp.
They're not as Crutchfield.
Yeah, exactly. No. But Rock Auto, and maybe before my birthday, I will have a running capable truck again. So I'm going to start putting it back together.
Sweet.
And then through a bizarre series of circumstances, I have been karting so much this week. So I did the Sunday SODI League at the local E1R racing karting facility. Put your bingo card away because I got fourth, fifth, and then sixth. And then last night, some friends were in town, and we went to go karting. And they found a new place, the Gene Woods Karting Experience. It is down near the Strip. We show up. We weren't even sure they were open, but we could see the go-kart warehouse and the lights were on. So we kind of yell from the parking lot, "Are y'all open? Yeah, come on in." Had the whole place to ourselves. They were really, really nice. We went out there, and it's banked curves with polished concrete.
Ooh.
And I'm fighting this thing the whole time. I'm like, my God, why can't this thing hook up? And I realize it's on purpose.
It's a slick track.
It's
Yeah.
a drift track. And our first race, they had us out there. They've got the spark arresters. They had us on level 3 out of a level of 4. And then once I realized it, oh my God, it was so much fun. And then for the second race, they put us on level 4, and it was a great way to exercise car control. Had just a fantastic time doing it once we kind of understood it. And it was really kind of picking where you turn in, and you're doing it defensively because someone's going to slide in front of you, and then you undercut them and take the lead back. Had a great time with that. Then today took them on a base tour and showed them airplane stuff and the petting zoo, and then we went karting again.
You have a petting zoo on the Air Force Base?
It's what's called that's the
There's a
threat
dog.
training facility. It's a
Call
dog.
it that.
It's this is all I've mentioned. I think I've mentioned it before. It is all legally acquired hardware that is designed to kill us, that we have purchased from nations that no longer needed it, and you can go on
Yes.
there and you can look at an SA2, and you can sit in a MiG 29, and you can sit in a MiG 23, and so all of this. And my friend Charlie, she was a pilot
Can you
for a
sit in the
while.
UFO?
We don't talk about that.
Oh, sorry.
And if you can sit in it, then you know what it is, and it's by definition not identified. Now, is it?
Oh.
All right.
Can
It's
you
just a
sit in the
faux.
alien?
It's just a faux.
It is Vegas. Can you sit in the alien spacecraft?
Yeah.
No.
So, and then for those who are really, really bored, by the time you're listening to this afternoon, but tomorrow, Nick and I'm going to be on Lemon's Thursday Therapy, talking
very
about
cool.
Houston and some other, I think it's me, Nick, and Eric tomorrow.
Oh, very nice. I also noticed that you're wearing your Fat Crack Racing T-shirt. For those of
Yes.
you in the
This is how we get
the
this is how we
YouTube
get
world.
it. This is how we get an NSF on this video.
Excellent.
All right.
Fantastic.
Sorry.
So who's
it
going
was-
next? Because we're all going to talk about the same thing.
I grabbed it when I got done running. Sorry.
I mean, I'll go last because you guys can cover everything else that I've done for the last couple of days. So
We had a 3-day work weekend on the Z.
sure
and
did.
It was two and a half days because
2.5
I had
days.
to do some other crap on Friday. So should we do Z or should we mention the French experience that we had? Oh, Mental's excited for the French experience. Let's do
I'm
that.
totally excited for the French.
So on Saturday morning, we had Eric, the 914 Whisperer, in the house. So we tag teamed, and Chrissy and Eric worked on the Z, and they could talk about that. And Chris and I went to the Citroën to get it running. Mental, if you have not started a car for 3 years, name 5 things that you bring.
Gas.
Yep.
A nail file.
Sure.
A fresh or sandpaper. A fresh
Sure.
battery. A spark plug wrench. Some starting fluid.
Chris, what's the one thing he missed that you had to go shopping for?
Jumper cables. I brought 2 freshly charged batteries.
Oh,
I brought
no
2
kidding.
fresh
Okay. Wow. All right.
We had to hook up both batteries. So anyway, so we the Citroën has been sitting for a couple of years. We pushed it out.
4.
We got it in the sunlight. We hooked up battery A, and it went. He said, "Oh, try the other one. I think the other one has more power." I put the other one in, and it went.
He's exactly right, actually.
That's the sound it makes. I wasn't even there, but it's.
So I said, "Get your jumper cables out, and I'll just try both batteries." And he said, "I don't have jumper cables."
Because in the
Once I
sub, you
had
just push people.
Terrible. Yeah.
It's 2 batteries. He brought 2 batteries.
I said, well, I could stack them on top of each other, just touch the terminals together. That was immediately outvoted.
I'm not against that. I think the terminals were just a little far apart.
They were a little different. They were a little different battery sizes.
Yeah.
So we went out, we got jumper cables, and we did the 2 half-dead batteries together, and it went bam, and it started right the hell up.
Yeah. And hit on all 6 right away.
Oh. A little smoky from what's in in the cylinders for a minute or two. The hydraulics came right back up. We revved it. We got some hydraulic pressure. We were ready to drive around.
It went down.
It went up. It went down. I was taking videos. I took videos for a guy from Switzerland, Sweden. I don't remember who wants to buy it. I'm going to send that to him as soon as I get around to it. And we're going to drive it around in a circle so I could get some visuals of it driving in a circle. And there is a puddle of transmission fluid under this sucker like you would not believe. So at some point while we're revving the motor...
That the hydraulic system uses ATF right now. So it could be from all kinds of different things.
Oh, it could be from anywhere.
Frankly.
It's brown. Yeah. It's reddish brown. So it was not there in the beginning. So in our zeal of revving and going, holy cow, that motor sounds great. We blew a line somewhere. Actually, we know right where it is. It's right where all 3 lines come together.
Pretty much. Yeah.
Well, okay, so a line blown, that's not bad. It's like the line's not destroyed. It's just it came loose.
Sure.
Well, yeah, probably. We don't know.
It was covered in hot oil, so we didn't really do anything. We just pushed it in the garage.
We shut it off. But then I had to make a trip up the road to the grocery store to buy a bag of cat litter and the cheapest paper towels they had so that we could clean up the big mess we left in front of our storage garage. So I drove the NXX up and down the lovely twisty, windy road to the storage garage, 2 different round trips, which I didn't really feel that bad about on a lovely day. So, yeah.
So here's what I'm taking away from this, and feel free to correct me. But a French car from the 70s
with an Italian motor
and 3 German carburetors that has not started since before we started this podcast runs better than Tom's Volkswagen.
Yeah.
Yes, correct.
Absolutely
100%.
Yep.
I need a bell. Ding ding.
Absolutely.
That's a beer bottle. That's not a bell. I need a bell. So we threw it in, we cleaned it up, we went back to the old CNC factory, and we went to work on the old Z there. So
the NSX and Scooty are in storage now.
Oh yes.
Wah, wah.
That by the way, Chrissy, was a brilliant photo of Eric's 911, the NSX, the Mercedes,
That wasn't me.
Who took that one?
I think Chris did.
I think Chris
Okay.
did.
Yeah, when the car's outside of your garage, you're worth more than the piece of crap inside.
That's kind of how it worked. So
Very much.
Eric,
All weekend.
the 914 Whisperer brought up his Black Beetle.
You
It's lovely.
shut your blasphemous mouth.
It's the
Gorgeous
Beetle Carrera 4.
Carrera 4.
Oof. Yeah.
99. What is it? A 991?
Yeah.
All right.
Oh, no, it's a 991. Okay.
Oh, it's a 993.
No.
It is. No, it's air cooled.
993. Yeah.
Yeah, 996 was the water cooled.
Okay. 993.
Yep.
Anyway, it is gorgeous. I lusted after it. I briefly contemplated when he was under the car knocking the jack off so I could steal it. But no, I didn't. It's amazing. So we should talk about what we did on the Z. I'll go around. The first thing I did, I don't even remember what the first thing I did was.
I don't know. We did so much this weekend. I don't remember exactly what the order was. Like, what would you do on Friday? I don't remember.
I don't remember what I did. The front of the motor is not the front of the motor. The front of the
You were
car.
you were under the car
Oh,
because
that's
I did the shifter
right.
on Friday. So
you did
were
the
under.
the starter.
I got
and
gritty kitty on Friday.
Yes.
Yeah.
you did.
Yeah, I
starter
mounted
and the clutch slave and the plugs on the wires.
I filled
and
the transmission oil and
Yeah.
helped Chrissy she was inside the car and I was under the car, and we put the shifter back together, and I got as oily as crap and as dusty as crap, and it was wonderful, but it all went back together fine. And then I said, Chrissy, jump in and actuate the clutch. And Chrissy, what happened?
I said, "Oh, it's pretty hard." And Chris is standing right outside the driver's door, and I think Jeff, I think
I
you
was
were
under
under
it
it.
still,
So under it. I said, it's really, the pedal's really hard. And he was like, just push a little harder. And I was like, no, it's like really hard. And he says, well, just push harder.
And then I said, wait, I can see the lines like going like the lines were like flexing really hard.
I don't think you said wait before I pushed it.
All happened all at the same time.
I guess so.
Just as you said that, man, it went boom, pop.
And then right to the floor. And I was like, oh, it didn't come back up.
And
So
I'm like,
you're Senna in the rain, but you're basically the angel of death with hydraulic systems.
yes, no, it was just seized. So it was actually fine.
That's not what happened all the way a couple minutes afterwards.
It took us a few minutes to figure it out because we thought maybe it was clutch related. No, it was just the slave cylinder is borked. So
original 1992
slave
cylinder. It's done.
So for $12, I ordered a new one off Rock Auto. But anyway, so I did that. I was Gritty Kitty on Friday, and then on Saturday, Eric, the 914 Whisperer, he helped us. He did the suspension. We put on the new, not cheaty at all. Shocks.
They're used.
They're used shocks.
well
We bought
used.
used shocks off of Facebook. What could be wrong with that?
Nope. They're
They
painted
just-
a weird gold color.
Yeah, weird gold
No one wants
color. And who makes it? They German?
I don't know.
I don't know.
Something European.
Something
whatever.
European. Whatever.
So Eric brought those up and he put those in. And
We did the rear brakes. Eric did the rear brakes. Chrissy helped me out because I was away at the Citroen. What else did you and Eric do in the morning?
grounds, made grounds because we didn't have any grounds to the engine.
Yep, no grounds.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but brakes were first, and then I think suspension.
Yeah.
Well, suspension was after you got back, so I guess grounds.
And we're doing I was doing wiring stuff. Jeff started to play with the generic block header, cheapest Chinese thing we could find, exhaust headers.
That's right.
That
Yes, I
spent
had
most
to.
of Jeff's Saturday.
So the exhaust header fits perfectly, except the same millimeter, like the Venn diagram is exactly 1 millimeter in where the steering shaft and the flange of the header wants to do. So I tried to bang it, didn't go far enough. I cut it and welded it. Problem is I cut just as much as I welded, so it was still stuck. I installed that header, it's driver's side header, installed and uninstalled 27 times in a day. And each time I moved it a little bit, 1 more millimeter.
How much did we hit it?
And I needed 1 more millimeter to go. The first dent was perfect, except it was in the wrong spot. The second dent was nearly as perfect, but it then created like the pinch between the 2 dents right where the steering shaft was. It was a whole helly mess. Chris had to save me at least twice with the welder, but it's in now, and it has 1.5 millimeters between the steering shaft. No?
No, it doesn't. I was under there last night. It's touching if you look
Ow!
around carefully. Yep, it's still touching. You just get, if you look really carefully around it, it's definitely touching. So I'm gonna fix that this weekend.
We just need to cut and put a flat plate on it.
Here's what I'm gonna do.
Okay,
I think I'm going to cut the top of each of the tubes down 3/4 of the way down, and then flex the entire thing while leaving the flange bolted to the head, and then the whole thing will rotate down.
Oh, like each of the runners, all 4 of the runners. You're going to
cut all
like
4 of the runners, and then rotate it down so that'll, because we only need like a 1/2 inch. Because that's actually all we have. It'll hit the other engine the other side after 3/4 of an inch. So a 1/2 inch down, and then weld all the runners back up, and maybe do a little porting on the insides to clean up what I just did. But I think that's going to be the easiest way to solve this problem.
Yeah, it is a nearly unsolvable problem. So, and I should mention that Eric. Oh, go ahead, Eric, Mental. Eric on that day also worked on the putting Chevy Silverado gas pedal where 300ZX pedal lived before. Mm-hmm. So he did the first kind of like mounting. Yes, go ahead, Mental.
Now, for those who may have this be your first show or you're just tuning in, this is all part of a race car project that my 3 co-hosts have started.
Oh, sure.
I'm enthusiastic about, but I haven't touched other than sit in it once. We, and I say we meaning they, are swapping a 4.8 liter that Chris scored for $75.
LS Chevy V8 mofos.
Right. Into a 91 300Z, because right now, despite owning three race cars, none of them work. So this is next year's race car.
Yeah. So the Chevy Silverado motor has a throttle by wire. The 300ZX has a throttle by cable. So you must take out, throw that.
We could have made the
pedal
LS
perfect. Get out of here.
Yeah. We could have made the LS a cable throttle body, but we chose to do the throttle by wire. And we knew I'd just steal one out of something it was in and put it in. And of course, it's in a terrible position. So anyway, Jeff.
On Sunday,
his head,
I spent the whole day in the lotus position, and I had to like crawl under, like with my arms up, because I had to like work above me, and something was stabbing me right in the armpit, and I am like so black and blue and torn up between here.
Oh yeah, you didn't see that on the Instagram. It was Eric. It was Eric, and he just, with a pointing screwdriver, just every now and again would just.
Well, he was at home at that point because that was Sunday.
I don't even know what it was.
That's what we wanted you to believe.
It hurt. All I know is, you know what?
Trim or something.
I didn't hurt while I was there. I just the next morning was like, why am I cut up in black and blue? But anyway, so I had to do.
We all have those.
I had to do lots of pie cutting. I put it we put it on the Facebook, I think, or Instagram. I can't remember which one. The original, when we mounted the pedal originally, it was about where your knee lives.
And you have to step on it down, not toward the
Like
firewall,
straight
but
down, not towards the firewall. So we did a lot of adjusting and mounting, but it looks great now. We just have to 2 bolts and a wire, and it's in.
Yeah, and I even painted it.
Yep.
I did a lot of wiring stuff. I'm moving an entire bundle of wires back to the backside of the firewall. I'm also removing wires we don't need, and I'm also trying to understand how Nissan wiring works. Like I've got how Honda wiring works, right? But Nissan wiring, I'm figuring out they used to use half of their relays to ground out things, and the other half to add power.
Things.
So
Yeah,
you don't really know.
Of course.
You got to go individually and see them. And anyway,
this was right when they were bought out by Peugeot. So
Renault.
Yes. Early 90s. Peugeot.
Renault, not Peugeot, was it?
Oh, I'm sorry. Thank you. Renault.
It's fine.
One of
Renault.
them French ones.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Anyway.
Are we bitching about Nissan?
Long before he was smuggled out in a guitar case. So they had to French it up a little.
Are we bitching about Nissan? Because I want to say what Chrissy wants to say.
I'm mocking. I'm not complaining.
Chrissy, let's talk about the thread pitch on Nissan bolts.
Well, apparently I'm wrong. So
Well, the bolts in the bucket were a variety of Chevy and Nissan.
that would be the problem.
Oh no, there is different threads of pitch on several.
I said the same thing, and he said it's not a thing.
Well,
I've looked at two bolts that look
exactly the same. Totally.
I handed you 3 when you were upside down, and I was like, I don't even know. And you were like, this one doesn't work, and then this one works, and I was like, see, I thought they were all the same. I think it's a thing, but if he doesn't think so, then it's probably right.
I wasn't totally sold because the bolts you were picking from came from a variety of sources, so that was my only issue.
Sure.
Yeah. Anyway, since this time, I've also finished up the radiator mounting system and support bar to cut out the core support that we cut out, and I made a bolt-in bar with captive nuts everywhere for that. And
I should mention that is mostly due to removing of accident damage.
Yeah.
And somewhat to make a much larger radiator fit in that sucker, because you got to cool an endurance vehicle.
Yep. And lastly, I've tried to get I actually need to plug the wiring of the car into the battery now to see what wires go where. And the battery, of course, was dead because it's been sitting in the trunk of the car for a year. So I put it on a charger. So that'll be ready for me next time. Yeah.
Chrissy, what did we miss? Because I know you were working on stuff.
I was. I did the long-term project of, I said it took me 3 days. It only took me 2. But I had been working on the headlight covers made from CAD, which is I started with some half-assed cardboard area design, and then I got told, because I got frustrated, that my cardboard had to be better than half-assed. So I went back to the drawing board, made those cardboards great, and made them into from old water heater from the Cape House, metal from those.
How much water heater is left? You guys have been
nothing.
That's like the 4th race car that water heater has gone into.
They're all different water heaters.
We keep getting more water heaters.
They're different water heaters.
Yeah, that's really what it is.
No, this one was.
Fair enough.
I swear this metal was thicker. I'm going to say because
I think it was too.
But
it's pretty old, this one.
It was really hard to cut. So
I also want to mention that the Z32-300ZX headlights are some of the most complicated headlights that anyone has ever put in a race car, into a regular street car ever. I mean, they're
just long.
Until recently.
Recently, yeah. Didn't
they don't
Bugatti
pop up, they're not that complex.
Didn't Bugatti or somebody use them?
And Lamborghini.
Yeah. Like they are the
they're just very heavy for what they for what they are.
They're long and slanty.
They're the longest, slantiest headlights put into a car at the time.
But as I was thinking when you were saying that you've got black and blue, you can't see it right now, and they're getting better. But I had cuts all up and down my arms from jagged metal because you had to stick my arm underneath to get to the bolt that was to the fender and to the front bumper and try to whatever.
I watched you doing that.
and then
you were like inseminating the cow.
Kind of.
Yeah.
You were like,
yeah. And then I figured out a better way to do it, actually. But anyway, we were doing that. So a lot of work got done, a lot of work to do.
Ready and we ate some turkey.
We had turkey, too. Yep. we didn't really talk about Thanksgiving, but we don't have time. We've got a lot to talk about today. Can we move on?
Totally.
Yeah.
Totally.
News and notes. Okay, there is a lady back in F1. When Susie Wolff retired in 2015, there has not been a female in Formula One until now. Earlier this year, Alfa Romeo promoted Tatiana Calderon from their Formula 2 test driver to Formula One. While she is not competing in Formula One at the moment, 27-year-old Colombian is used to breaking barriers. She's the first woman to compete in both Japanese Super Formula and Formula 2, and was all part of an all-female team LMP2 driver lineup at Le Mans history, and is the first woman Alfa Romeo ever signed to test drive for their Formula 1 team. She's blunt about her goals. Quoted in Motor Trend, "I want to be a full-time Formula 1 driver." I feel like a lot of drivers say that. That's my dream. That's why I wake up in the morning.
That's what everybody wants to do.
That's what everybody says.
Auto racing. I mean,
Right?
Honestly, I have no interest
say.
in Formula One. IMSA, that's where I would want to be.
Okay, but there's a lot of people that say that.
But that's only because I have a huge man crush on Jordan Taylor.
Okay, well, I'd like to be in F1. No, I don't want to be in F1. No, after watching this show, I do not want to be on F1. We'll talk a lot more about F1, so we'll just keep going. Mantle, go ahead.
All right. After the failures of Tom Lamino and Grassroots Motorsports, VW has decided that they are done racing. So according to James Gilboy over at The Drive, the Volkswagen brand, quote, "The Volkswagen brand is on its way to becoming a leading provider for sustainable e-mobility," declared Dr. Frank Welsh, who is the Volkswagen board representative for development. "To this end, we are pooling our strengths and have decided to terminate the Volkswagen brand's own motorsport activities. The motorsport workforce will be integrated into Volkswagen Auto Group." And a link to that article by James Gilboy is in our show notes.
This is still fallout from Dieselgate. They have tried to move their company towards electrical power since Dieselgate because they were the torch holder for no diesel, not electric. It is clean. So
that and also, I mean, aside from building a couple of factory golf hot rods for rally, they weren't doing
much. Yeah.
Yeah, and this is Volkswagen branded. So Audi still out there putting foot up backside. Porsche still out there doing Porsche stuff. Lamborghini still out there doing their thing. So it's not like Volkswagen's not racing. They're just not racing under the name Volkswagen.
Cool.
Yep. All right. Host number 5, Eric Rude, let us know the 2021 Lemons Rally schedule's up. For those that have never done a crab can rally or want to get involved with this kind of ridiculous nonsense and not commit to racing, this is something to look into. So if you like fixing your heap on the side of the road somewhere and, eating gas station food, or, hey, bring a hot plate and cook on your front passenger seat. It's okay.
Maybe maybe it's a new relationship and you want to know if it'll stand the test of time.
Mm-hmm. Or, hey, maybe you'll meet somebody there. It worked for me. So the old favorite is the Retreat from Moscow rally in February, which starts in Pennsylvania, ends up in the Barber Race in Birmingham. Texas event is now in April, start and end in San Antonio. There's some new delights as well. Pacific North Rex is in June. It's a lovely time to be in the Pacific Northwest there, certainly. Rust Belt Ramble will hit all the garden spots of Chicago, Detroit, Cleveland, and Pittsburgh is in July. Finally, San Diego to San Diego via Nevada is in for November for the California Hell on Wheels event. Details and more as the events emerge, but link is in our notes.
Skip my story. We're going long.
Okay.
Chrissy, do your next one.
Okay, because we talk about F1 when we don't talk about Lemons racing. There's even more news in F1. We are the seven-time world champion, the Lewis Hamilton, has tested positive for coronavirus. He is not. He's okay. He woke up Monday morning, mild symptoms. He still has to go quarantine for 10 days. He will, he's going to be further tested and return for a positive result. That means he is out of the race for this weekend. So he's out. So is Grosjean. And there's going to be a big shakeup. But George Russell is driving his car. And that's amazing.
They finally made that announcement.
All day.
Yeah.
I have been doing a dance. Little George
Yes.
Russell, who looks like he's 12, is the
Because he
runner-up.
is.
He is.
Oh, thank you, thank you, sir. May I have some?
He had a little petticoat on the one day, and I was like, "Oh, it's so cute." So
I'd quite like to
he's-
drive your Mercedes, Mr. Hamilton. Oh, thank you, sir.
I
Thank you.
know I've been driving a garbage car all season, but I'm so happy to be here. In
Oh, Mr. Wolf. Oh, Mr. Wolf. Thank you. Thank you.
oh my God, this is so exciting because the thing that's exciting about this, and then we'll move on, is because everybody has always wanted to know: is it Lewis Hamilton because he's God, which is probably true, but is it his car and makes him God? So now we've got somebody else who is F1 driver, not very well, appearingly not very good, but we think it's his car. So now, is it his car? Is it George Russell? We've made bets on where we think he comes in, but this is the weekend to watch F1.
So
and far be it for me to recommend
Lewis can't win.
Another podcast, but I listened to the Missed Apex, which is a Formula One specific podcast out of there, and they both dismiss this. Oh, it's the car. Yeah, it's the car, and it's the car that has been developed for Lewis Hamilton because Lewis Hamilton knows what he's doing. You could associate it with, it's the car if he was a one-time Formula One champion 7 effing times.
I know.
But the flip side of that is Russell has done miracles with a terrible car.
Yes.
Except for that one screw up in a mold.
We all have that one screw up. It's okay.
I was
One goat.
One goat. I was watching that race over at Pantless Matt's house with his buddy who's been out to a couple races, and his girlfriend was telling she's like you. She watched the Netflix show and then boom, was suddenly a Formula One fan, knew all the stats, knew everything about it.
Yes.
And she was like, before the race started, she's like, I'm really excited because I think Russell might score a point. I would really like him to score a point for the drivers' championship.
Yeah,
then that happened. And
but
but it all paid out, man.
But he could do it now.
That's what you get for being a nice guy.
It's
Good on
true.
you, Russell.
And
go on.
Go ahead. Chris.
Mine is almost changing the topic. So
All right, last thing. The reason this is happening is Russell is actually a Mercedes contracted driver that they loaned to Williams. So they're kind of they're I don't know what strings they pulled. Like I don't know, Hamilton has to drive the Williams car when he comes back.
Because there was talk that Williams had the legal contractual right to tell Mercedes to go pound sand.
Yeah, but
Because
then Mercedes is like, "Oh,
used them.
do you want to have engines next year?" Oh,
yeah.
Yeah. No, it's awesome. It's so exciting.
My only question is: so how many people did Hamilton need to cough on the way out to get Susie Wolf to be like in the race? Like, Kimmy, come here.
Susie's done. If she no doubt has the talent, but when she retired from competitive motorsport, she's not kept the workout up. She's moved into a managerial team ownership promotion position, which she is brilliant at. But if I remember watching her workouts when she was the test driver, and oh dear God, they were exhausting to watch on a small screen.
Still are.
And if you don't keep up with that, man, you can't.
I'm just
5
saying,
Gs
Denver
every corner.
Broncos went through every single quarterback because they were all in the same room together.
yeah.
Yeah.
They almost-
Just saying.
Now,
Just saying.
Some friggin' linemen. They didn't call
He's a
John
receiver.
Elway.
Yeah.
They didn't call John Elway up and
Sure,
ask,
they
"Hey
took a
man, you
receiver,
doing
yeah.
anything on Sunday?" You know.
All right, we're going to talk. I think we're going to talk more about F1 because there's much more. That race was worth sitting on the couch all day for because it was amazing. Anyway, we're going to talk about upcoming races. Okay, WRL World Racing League is having their 2020 championships this weekend at COTA. Thanks to the staff at WRL for getting us their entry list, which is fun. 96 cars, which is actually a pretty good
Good
turnout.
for them. Yeah.
Yeah, 36 BMWs.
Boring.
Sometimes I don't wait and then you don't say it. 15 Miatas, 2 of those Hondas, 15 Porsches. What? And
What?
a pair of Aston Martins. All right. One of those Porsches is our buddies, Tyler and Trevor from Kingpin Motorsports. And this is the final race for WRL in 2020. And their first in 2021 is at NOLA at the end of January.
Champ Cars having their HMS Motorsport Grand Prix at VIR's North Course, December 4 and 5th. Why don't they just run the whole thing? Because no one wants the South Course by itself. That's terrible. Anyway,
some probably like motorcycle group rented it.
Yeah. 44 cars, 12 of those are BMWs, which are boring. Totally. 7 Miatas, 8 Hondas, 5 Porsches, and an 86 Mercury Capri, or as otherwise can be known, the Crepi. Right. It's fine. It's a Fox body.
I can't believe they even cut this course.
No. That's the 86 is. Oh,
no, it's the Fox body still.
I was thinking that was the one I bought off of.
No. It's not the Australian.
Not the Australian Mazda convertible, which is what you had.
I completely screwed that up. Yeah. Okay. So that's not as crappy as that crappy.
It's just a Fox body with a bigger hatch and different headlights. Cool. Anyway, at North Course, 2.5 miles. You turn right uphill just after the bridge before going up through the S's. So, I mean, it's like, it's okay, but it's not the full one.
No, and it doesn't even seem like you can. I don't think you can race on a South Course without a North Course.
Oh.
You can't get onto the track.
They've got their own paddock.
There's a little pits.
Over at the straight before
It's totally lame.
Oh, it's totally lame.
Yeah.
It's like a drag strip that's not straight and not flat.
Look,
and
people rent Jefferson at Summit Point all the time.
That's worse.
And that's terrible.
Well, hopefully it's for. How much do you have on you today? Yeah, I guess that'll do it.
I got $16.82
and $20 in
I got an extra sandwich that you can have. Oh, okay.
Well, what kind of sandwich?
It's been in the sun for a while, but I'm sure it's still tasty.
It could also be like a school bus rodeo, or something like that,
Well, that'd be fun.
At VIR, come on.
Oh, well.
That's what we're talking about too. It's cost a little. Are we talking about Jefferson or VIR Little Course?
It's all the same.
Either way.
Okay.
Race results.
Race results. Oh, we don't have any amateur race results.
We don't have any race results.
But that's why we're going to talk about F1, and we're going to stuff in some safety gear here on this topic. Okay, so if you didn't see, I'm sure you've seen it. Because this
just look it up.
It made it to every news series ever.
I got home and my wife was like, "Did you see the accident?"
Yes, we saw the accident. Actually, you didn't see the accident, but they replayed it like 85 times. So, yeah, of course, it's the first lap, so that's the best time to watch an F1 race. Anyway, first lap, Haas car driven by Roman Grosjean hit a guardrail. So he basically made a bad turn, went straight off into a guardrail, which is kind of like those split metal guardrails like you have on the highway kind of thing. Basically, he split the guardrail, went into it straight ahead, and it split the car in half. The race fuel and where right behind the tank between the driver and the tank is where it split, and a big fireball happened, like a big fireball. He was probably engulfed in flames around 18 to 20 seconds, something like that. I heard 28.
28, I think.
Yeah, I heard 28 as well.
Right. So someone else timed it better. Yeah.
Yeah. So a long time. And of course, when this first happened, they did show it on video from far away because they were watching all the cars come by. You see the big crash. And then they, of course, didn't show anything about the car and the crash to make sure that there weren't body parts all over the track, because that was actually a thing that could have happened. So he's actually great, surprisingly. He got out of the fire. He must have the best safety equipment in the world. Because
no, there's no must. They're Formula One guys. They have
everything.
Best.
Fine. They did, because he only had suffered burns from his hands and his ankles. Probably really because he was in the fire just that long, right? And he lost a shoe. So he was still in the hospital.
Today. I was reading a relevant thing today that he said when he was in the car, he didn't know which way was up or out, really. Like he just sees orange because his visor melted a bit, so he couldn't see anything out of that. So like he kind of got himself up and out enough, and then he didn't really even know what to do until he felt the medical car driver's hand on him, and then he realized, that
direction. Yeah.
Got it.
Yeah,
because that's all he's thinking at that point. Because that's because the one like corner worker ran across the track with the fire extinguisher and just went
Not the most svelte guy on the planet.
No, but
when there's a fireball
across that track,
you're gonna run.
And he was the one who ran right into it and made the room for the doctor to get in there and help get over that wall.
I have chills. It's watch it. It takes 30 seconds to watch it. If you Google it, you'll find a million pictures of it. And anyway, so he is mobile. He was on social media that day, and they were showing him in the hospital. He was just holding his hands up because they were all burned. Anyway, so we're moving on. Do you actually think your safety gear is as good as his is?
No.
Probably not. Is what we just said.
No.
Have you been fueling in your race suit? I
Yes.
hope not. Yes.
But have you
Right.
actually filled in your race suit? Only a little.
Sure. Mental usually tries to get changed, but none of us do. Do you have any holes in your suit?
No.
No.
Stop
Shoes? Nope. But you did have one.
I did
for
have
a
one
long
before.
time. Gorilla Tape is not SFI rated. Do you?
I
always-
only used the Gorilla Tape to close the flap. It was like a 1-inch little cut, and I just
Whatever.
Uh-huh.
It's not good. Okay, so do you always wear Nomex socks?
nope.
Nope.
No. I'm going to now.
I do.
I did not.
I at least wear cotton ones.
I do wear cotton.
Don't make sure you wear cotton stuff under race stuff because synthetics will just melt, and that's
And
even
they don't
worse.
even have to be exposed to fire.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
They'll melt behind your fireproof suit if you're wearing a synthetic. All right. So this is the whole point that we're going down this path. Now, as of this recording time, I checked this afternoon. Alpenstars has their SFI rated socks 40% off. It's $21, a little bit more, and you get them mailed to your house. I went ahead and ordered 2 more pair because mine reek after a race day. Want to thank Tom Lamino for that link. So also the Black Cyber American Consumer Palooza thing on there, but this stuff is still on sale. Link to those Alpenstars socks is in our show notes.
Well, we were sitting around the Casa de Chrissy and Chrissy. You know what we all said to each other? New car. We have to remember to practice getting out again. All right.
Mm-hmm.
So not only does your equipment have to be good, and absolutely, that is absolutely 100% true. You need to make sure all your equipment is good, but can you get out? Do you know where your switches are? Can you do it blindfolded? Because just as Chris mentioned, Roman couldn't see a thing when his visor melted. All right. You need to be able to turn your car off, find the fire extinguisher handle, pull it, disconnect whatever the hell is connected to you. Cool shirt.
Oh, I think that
radio.
you'll be able to run away from those pretty well.
Sure. I actually think the cool shirt can get in your way
Okay.
and slow you down a little.
Possible.
And
Yeah.
at least know what it feels like to jump out and have that magical hand grab you of the cool shirt. So, can you turn everything off? Can you get out of the car? Can you pull it? Can you do it with your Hans connected, with a nothing out of your helmet? Can you do it blindfolded? Now's the time to practice. 28 seconds is a gosh darn eternity when you are engulfed in flame. If your suit says 3-2-A1, that's 3 seconds before you're getting second degree burns. If it's 3-2-A3, that's 7 seconds. 7, 14, 21, 28. Took him 4 times as long to get out. So, yeah, even if you have a 3-2-A5, which nobody has because they're hard to find and really expensive.
I think
That's
what
only-
I have.
Is it?
Yeah, I think the good ones are
Five?
A5s. Yeah.
Oh, I have to go look
Yeah,
at
it's a 5
that's 10 seconds.
Yay.
Are you wearing underwear? That can increase it.
Yep.
So I know we're in a couple of next week or the week after that we're doing Christmas. What's the
Next
Uh,
week, I think.
Next week.
That's next week.
is our
Time for people to
Christmas-
shop.
Yes, exactly.
You can put this stuff on your Christmas list, and we're going to talk about more of that next week.
Your family would love to buy you safety gear,
Sorry.
especially
Yes.
your mom.
Yes.
This kind of made it ring home of what we do is really fun, but if it goes wrong, it can go really, really wrong. So I think I've decided I'm going to go get myself a Nomex balaclava because I don't have one of those, and my neck is the only thing that's actually unprotected. Like the suit comes up a little bit, but then my helmet's there, so like the bottom of my chin has got nothing.
And
Hey,
you don't
Greg.
wear a balaclava at all, right?
No,
Neither do I. Mm-mm.
but
I wear a
probably should.
Pro-Band, whatever it is.
Yeah. The closest we've ever gotten to this is once I was driving the Datsun truck, and we fixed quote unquote the carburetor, and the thing actually ran great. It ran so great that I drove it promptly right off the track at a corner I used to be able to take flat, but the truck was going so much faster. Anyway, then it wouldn't restart, so I get towed in to Barber, and whatever. I'm sitting there, I'm still suited in, hoping it's just a quick fix. And Metal pops the hood, and he goes, "Oh, get out, get out, get out, get out, get out, get out!" Like in a really, really excited tone. And so I actually had to see like what was my instinct in this. Unfortunately, it all worked out. Well, actually, my right hand reached down, hit the kill switch as my left hand was hitting the belts and I reached over for the door and I kind of just fell out of the truck, but I got out quick. So
We just had to hide it because the truck was there. The safety crew was still there. And they're like, something wrong? We're like, no,
nothing wrong here.
We're all fine. No fireball
fires.
too. So it was all good.
We're not pouring gas out of the carburetor onto the header. It's okay. No worries.
But yeah,
but did you die? No. Oh.
And the difference between a funny story and a tragedy is your preparation and your instincts.
Yeah,
yep.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Listener feedback time. I'm going first.
Go.
Last week was our thankfulness episode, and some of you shared your thankful experience, and I'm thankful that you shared your thankful experience, and I want to wish my thanks on your thankful experience. Michael K. said to the YouTubes, I'm thankful for COVID restrictions, allowing me time to prolong the time my ancient Saint Bernard had to experience the good life without being moved from work to home to work to home. The choice of quality of life would have been very different timing. Says she lived a long life and loved every minute of it with me and gave me so much joy. Sure, the call had to be made, but if I'm honest, she got 2 or 3 more months because of the COVID and because of the time he was able to spend with her. COVID sucks in this case, it gave instead took joy.
That struck a note with me because working from home really enabled me to see some problems that our big dog was developing. And she's actually better now, but it was because we were at home and able to kind of get her the care she needed. So thank you for sharing that.
Yeah, mine are still stupid and loud, bark a lot.
Yep. More than just being dog lovers and thankful, we're also fans of quality beverages. So we posted up a "What you drinking" over the weekend because this car certainly isn't going to build itself sober. Hashtag. We got a lot of great replies. Thanks for all your great replies. There's certainly a lot of good stuff out there. So keep on replying and keep on enjoying your beverages.
On the Instagram, posted a picture of the failbird, which as we speak, it just posted another one, is being transported across the U.S. And if you can spot the failbird, snap a picture of it, send it to us with a hashtag spot the failbird, and you're going to win a swag pack. We don't know what that swag pack is, but we'll put a bunch of stuff together. And one of the things in there is going to be a 5-pack of beer because, as Dr. Florida Man said, a 5-pack.
It's the right number.
It's my
favorite denomination to receive.
Exactly. Because you bought beer for your friends, but you needed something to drink on the trip
on the way home.
So the ceremonial 3-Pedal Mafia 5-pack available anywhere fine beer is sold.
There's a picture
pretty
of the
awesome.
Yeah, I think Dean took that as it got loaded on the truck, and some poor guy with a camera is going to be really upset with everything that car drips on it for the next 3,000 miles.
So wait, show that up again, Chrissy. It's on the YouTube.
It's on our gram.
Media. But it is
I got it on Facebook.
Multicolor, rainbow-colored, zebra striped, 3rd generation Firebird on the 2nd story of a multi-car carrier.
And continuing on that, Dean said he's going to get $50 for any team sticker that shows up and covers the tire mark on the door passenger en route. Chuck Swigletary absolutely said, best livery ever. And Racing 73 claims, I saw it tonight, but it was on his TV because he was watching old Lemons footage. And Andrew Pullman said it's probably going down I-80. I'm just going to sit on an exit outside of Omaha and wait.
Wow, that's dedication.
That is dedication.
For a price that we don't even know what it is. So
we're gonna have to print a T-shirt or something.
You must
do
have
something.
nothing else to do.
I'll get out the fabric markers and make you an Everyone Races T-shirt.
I live in Las Vegas. I will have someone airbrush like a unique.
There you go.
I spotted the failbird, brah.
All right, so we had we're talking iSucket Racing. Sunday we're back in action. This past Sunday we had trash racing, no pedal, no wheel at Charlotte Oval Roval. We had some wonderful ideas. The Buster, the Shih Tzu, was in rare form and actually got the car moving. Yes, he was pretty good. He moves his head. That's which way he goes. That's where the car goes. A cross-country dynamic duo of a blindfolded driver and a navigator observing from the passenger seat was awesome. And then I think our favorite, because it was hilarious, Randy Bish was driving with his screen minimized, relying on the chat Discord and force feedback to braille his way around. We laughed seriously hard. It was really good. It was very funny.
I was
Then we
still driving back from working at the Z, so I missed it all.
You could have listened to it, but that's okay. We had Trucks and Trucks, Pro 2s, and NASCAR trucks. They were surprisingly well matched. And there was Mustang event with every iteration of Mustang present, but specific fuel restrictions forced the fastest Mustang to pit 8 times, and then less for the cars further down scale. This Sunday, we're at the Funduro at Mid-Ohio. Join us for the race. Sign into the YouTube, Twitch, Facebook feeds, and comment at Beach Watching TV because there's nothing on Sunday anyway.
Nice.
That Mustang race, they turned all the crowds off in the stand. They didn't want any temptations.
Or it was a COVID race.
Totally.
Absolutely.
So placeholder for us coming up on that. December 13th is trash racing. It's just inappropriate rallycross and Thunderdome. December 20th is endurance at Sebring. So bring your Chryslers. December 27th is trash sprints at New Hampshire and something at Irwindale, which has got to be a figure 8. Why else use Irwindale? January 3rd is endurance at the Monza Oval, which is always exciting. And January 10th is the Turlet Bowl, which is trash racing at the Chili Bowl. So fantastic.
Now, you want to get ready for those races? Well, we usually have on Monday nights the E1R race. And this past Monday, we were going to go into Sonoma in preparation for the final limits events of the season, but we runed that crap right out the window. So we went to Mid-Ohio instead in preparation for this Sunday's iRacing. It was Miatas, Legends, and Jettas, and the Pro 2 trucks. Surprisingly competitive if you knew what you're doing, which I didn't. So I just kept turning through the middle point of the track. So we were clutting through the course, clearing our black flags. Santiago could spin the entire lap sideways on the grass, and he was still beating people legitimately. Just for the record, and this is important because he's made it a point, Tom was in third and then also in second before he got crashed. Now, next week, we're open to suggestions and inputs from anyone. Get a hold of us for the password. The Discord is linked in our show notes. Love to have you. It's not serious. It's not really racing. It is fun.
Awesome.
Fun.
I wasn't there. I was finishing a floor.
Good job.
You know who always gets their floor done in time for Monday night E1R racing?
That was lame. Hi, Mom.
I was going to go, you know who's not serious and always fun, but then...
And then you started coming to your floor.
Since we're saying hi to your family, we'll also say hi to your dad, who probably listens, and your sister sometimes listens.
Absolutely, yes.
When the boy is sleeping, and I'll say, pour one out for the original body actor of Darth Vader, David Prowse, who died this week.
Aww.
Yes. He was a British guy with a high-pitched voice.
You obviously weren't a super fan.
He had no idea that all of the lines were being redubbed by James Earl Jones until he went to the movie and went, "That's me!" And they went, "No, dude, that ain't you." Get
out!
Yeah,
I didn't know that.
Story. Anyway, let's get to the main topic. Last week we talked about how to winterize or
2 weeks ago.
Winter prep your race car. Now we're talking about how to do all the other stuff around your race car. Yes, your gear and your trailer and your truck and all that other crap needs to be winterized also. I'm going to start it all up and talk about from the top of the head down, your helmet. Are you prepared? Do you know that your helmet may or may not be in date next year? So check that sticker.
Good call.
And also check your racing series. Champ Car is still letting them go 11 years. Lemons, the guidance I got was no, but they might change their mind on this one. I've already seen the 2020s. They're out. They're available through all of your reputable gear suppliers.
If they're available, your helmet probably stinks if it's out of date anyway. So,
yeah, exactly.
Listen, here's the deal.
And if you don't want to spend a lot of money, the SA15s, man, the closeout deals on those are friggin' fantastic.
Absolutely. And again, you're only supposed to keep it 5 years anyway. We'll get to that. So listen to the deal. The thing about your helmet is if you don't wear a balaclava, if you keep all the sweat in it, it's going to be sticky as hell. You need to keep your helmet clean and dry when not in use. All right. You need to keep it out of the extreme temperatures. So do not store it where it is going to freeze or be too hot. Chris?
Storing your helmet over the winter with dryer sheets in it makes a huge difference in its smell.
I was getting to that.
Oh, we're going to talk about dryer sheets continuously. Go buy.
I know you say you have something else, but I
do have something else. So
go talk 2 boxes of dryer sheets right now because they're great.
So yeah, you need to keep. So basically, you can't store it in like your garage in Las Vegas. because that's too freaking hot. You can't store it in your trailer in Maine because that's too freaking cold. So just like race tires, this thing needs to be protected from the weather. So you're going to dry it out. You're going to put a dryer sheet in it. I like sneaker balls. You can get them at any sporting goods store. They are little tiny plastic balls with baking soda or whatever in it, and it keeps it nice and fresh. Because you sweat in your helmet, and it gets stinky, and you don't want it.
And apparently, I'm the only guy with an SFI balaclava.
I have one.
Okay, all right.
Yes, I have one, and I've cotton ones. I have one ProBand.
Cotton ones.
Yeah.
Right.
One's ProBand.
Anyway, so you got to make sure also keep your helmet free from exposure to petroleum products, fuels, brake cleaner, etc. That can cause some damage to it. Give it a wax too. Keep it clean. Automotive-based wax. Get the buffer out. If you already are doing it for your car, might as well. Also inspect it. Is there a crack at the bottom forming? Did you hit your head too hard on the A-pillar getting your teammate out of the car? Do the bolts holding the visor on? Are they coming out? Are your Hans mounts getting loose? Because if they're ones you put in, they're probably getting loose. So think about that. If you actually got involved in a crash or something, your helmet's done. It worked. They're one-time use. It's now a planter. It's fine. So there you go. Move that one's along. Most manufacturers suggest you replace every 5 years, not just to sell you a new helmet, but there's plastic products that degrade over time, and the fire resistance can potentially wear off. So it's time to shop for a new one. Actually, mine is a 2010. I'm due. So, but I kept in good shape. It still works.
My 2015 is 4 years old because 2015 came out late. And I still really like it, but my visor needs to be replaced because the visor has taken enough abuse and the fog protection has died. So, sometimes you just need to check it, inspect it, see something and replace that part, like your Hans clips. Your Hans clips can get loose or damaged or whatever. So, that's all replaceable.
I'm totally getting a tinted visor in addition to my regular visor this time, so I don't have to put sunglasses underneath it, and that way I can actually run with it closed more often, which I think is good for safety as opposed to leaving it open.
Say like if you're in a big ball of fire.
Exactly.
I bought a tinted visor and I took it off because I didn't like it.
Oh.
And this is why I didn't like it, because when I had it fully closed, it was fine, but sometimes you don't want it fully closed because you want to get a little air. And I didn't like having sun, not sun, line in my face. So I prefer clear end sunglasses.
I will actually run a tinted visor even at night, just so you don't get the star sparkles effects off the headlights. Yeah. I'm a huge fan of tinted visor, and most people are probably going to chuckle at this. There's an intimidation factor. I've noticed that when I was riding.
You're staring at the driver as you're passing for 15 seconds as you go down the Mulsanne
exactly
Street.
Right.
just like the Ford versus Ferrari movie. Exactly. Or when you look up in the mirror and there's basically just this faceless automaton back there. And I've noticed that when I ride motorcycles with a tinted visor, I tend to get less hassle. But it's a flavor. A lot of people also like the iridiums because they work really well at night. The yellow ones.
Yes, I should try that.
To mask your face will actually enhance if you do a lot of night racing. They'll enhance your night vision. And if you're bummed about, holy crap, I spent $400 on this helmet, why should I be replacing it? It's still perfectly fine for autocross. It's great for fueling. It's great for karting. It's great for a host of other activities that don't involve you in a really
cage.
In an actual
dangerous thing.
Race car. And
a track day in your stock Miata.
Great.
Yeah, absolutely.
Not a problem.
Your SA 2010 is fantastic. Will still do its job. Yeah, totally.
Yep. In the cage is the most dangerous part for your head because if you hit a bar, you are going to die. That's why the SA helmets are so much more expensive. Let's talk about race suits.
Yes, Jeff. Let's talk about race suits. Let's talk about cleaning race suits.
Your waist suit. I wash it all the time. Every manufacturer has a recommended washing cycle. It's on the tag. It's got a lot of little strange symbols and thing. My Sparko is in 8 different languages on the garment bag that came with it. And I always have to go, no, that's French. No, that's Chinese. Oh, there's the English one. But anyway, so yeah, read the washing instructions inside the bag. Mine happens to be delicate cycle inside the garment bag with cold water. Some will say, like front loading washer only. Some will say how much spin to put on it. Just read the dang tag and follow the tag. Okay, mine even has folding instructions, and someone else is going to mention that. Chris recently turned me on to, and I always knew it existed, but I didn't realize how good it was, on the molecule. Like, we've all seen it in the race store. We've been checking out on the website. We're like, oh, we suggest you buy molecule race wash. And you're like, oh, what? I just used.
You are stanky hoe at the races. And this stuff really helps.
It says right on the label that I could just use regular detergent or whatever it says on your thing. I got the molecule, and my suit is kind of silver and white. It's cleaner. That stuff really works well. So
as long as you don't smell as bad as you usually smell,
well,
we're ahead.
I'm a stinky boy anyways. That just happens.
And we're picking on Jeff because it's one of our running bits and it's funny.
No, he really does smell worse than others. Like 100%.
He does, but I've done some judging this year, and I've had some people come up. I've had some people come up to me in their suits. I'm like, I would really prefer smelling Jeff right now.
Okay, he's not like the worst ever.
No,
but
he's not.
My suit is always clean. I have a musk,
and this is the thing is there's a lot of things that have come out of the Rona, and one of those is wearing your race suit to gear tech is not going away. It is way more efficient. It's way better. And it's even funnier when we're standing there, we're running 2 tech lines. There are 10 people waiting in line. They're all wearing their race gear, and the guy comes up with a bag, and we look back and go, bro, you're gonna have to put all that on. And they're like, what? Really?
Which is great, because I've done gear tech, and how many people try to give me, here's the bag, and I'm like, I am not touching
that crap.
I'm not touching it. I don't care if you think it's clean or not. It's disgusting. You pull it out, you show me the tags. I love it.
When you're wearing your gear, you walk up. As you're walking up, I'm looking down at your right foot, because that's almost every time except the Pyrotex, that's where the tag is. And then I can look and see if you got Nomex socks. As you come up, I check your shoulder or your wrist. I've done 50% of the gear tech as you are walking to the table. We check a helmet, we check a Hans, we check a gloves. You're done, man. Get back in the car. Go back on your test day. Yeah. And so if your suit stinks, you got to live in it.
Yep. What else we got?
So to that end, if you're looking about dry cleaning your suit, think twice about that. Dry cleaning, by nature, it uses chemicals, which is why it's good for certain fabrics. But one of the big thing is trichlor or trichloroethene. I hope I got that close. It is very commonly used in dry cleaning. It has got a real potential to damage the actual chemical integrity and the sewing of your suit. And it can also really cause it to shrink. So sometimes, you just got fat, but sometimes your very expensive race suit just shrank. Now, some of the shrinkage is just going to happen. Shrinkage, but it's not enough that it's
I was in the pool.
It
was cold.
It's not going to have an adverse effect on fitment, but if you start taking it to the dry cleaners, it absolutely could. And that is one of the leading causes of Nomex is improper laundering. So also excessive heat during the wash or the drying process also damages and affects the size of the suit. Most of them actually recommend you use Woolite. Now, season is over. They had those cool in it for the long haul COVID patches. Your buddy's got a cool race team patch. You got your IOE patch or your 5-time loser patch, whatever that one. Do not use Easy Stitch or any of that melting iron stuff on your suit. Any heat bonding to add that patch on, it is going to actually damage the suit because you are melting plastic into something that is not meant to have plastic in it. They do sell Nomex thread for race suits, or if you use cotton. Now, the patch will not survive a fire, but your suit will survive the fire. You'll be okay. Pegasus sells 100-yard spools of Nomex thread for $10. I work out, so I think my ass is worth $10. Your opinions may vary. So link to all that is actually in the show notes.
And when you're washing washing it out, make sure the belt and collar are closed in the suit so the Velcro doesn't cause.
You're on mute.
I can't hear you. Something's wrong.
Oh, sorry. I turned my microphone off so
good.
you
Oh,
wouldn't
that's
hear
better.
snacks and drinks. Hey, when you're washing at home, make sure the belt and collar are closed in the suit to prevent Velcro from causing damage to the Nomex. Some saying adding, add a safety to make sure everything stays in place. Woolite is recommended because it's non-abrasive detergent. Do not use bleach or anything even close to bleach. When you dry it, let it air dry indoors, out of the sunlight, and then open the zipper too. Let some air flow into it and through it. Don't leave it closed at that point. Also, store it out of sunlight. Stick in the storage bag. Stick in the back of your closet. I like it in the closet because it gets the air all winter. That way, it's not stuck in a little bag. So either way, don't put it up in the sun.
We hang them in door frames for a while. And then when somebody needs those doors, then we put them somewhere else.
Yep.
Okay.
Mine's hanging right behind that door right there.
Okay.
Yep.
We're going to switch gear from clothes to RV and trailer storage. So why don't you wash it? Which Jeff can just like zone out now because he doesn't know those two words. Don't think you can just clear out.
Wash?
No. Just, yes.
Vehicles do not sweat. You don't need to wash a vehicle.
You do need to wash a vehicle. Give it a scrub. Prepare your RV for outdoor winter storage by using mild soap and clean water. Take care of the exterior. You also just probably should do the interior because you probably have slept in it, lived in it. It's probably disgusting.
Now, the interior you need to wash, everybody.
And you should really care about it. So take care of it to start with. That would be a good start. And then you need to protect it with from the sun, exposure, mildew, unpleasant odors, which probably happens. Sun exposure, close all the windows, curtains, and blinds. Keep mildew away. Make sure everything's squeaky clean. All perishables were removed. And it's impossible to completely keep it odor free, but you can but draining water tanks and cleaning pipes will help as well.
Look into marine products for moisture suck up bucket things. That helps a lot.
Yes.
Marine stuff. They're all about that. All right. If you can, jack
Number
it up.
5.
If you get the jacks, jack it up.
That kind of marine.
No, another kind of marines. Yeah. Sitting in one spot for months at a time might flat spot your tires. So you can use your jacks and some blocks to at least get the pressure off them. Same with the trailer. That's great. If you got it on a concrete slab, you can put some carpet or plywood under it. That's too help keep the concrete away from it for dry rot. Increasing the pressure also helps us a little bit to keep them in round. And the biggest reason RV and trailer tires fail is actually, it's not mileage, it's UV degradation. So if you can cover them up, do so.
They sell covers for your RV tires.
Sure.
I did have a question.
Yes.
Flat spotting, is that like mitigated or less because of the modernization of tires? I say this because I bought my trailer, like it had sat in the same spot for 3 years and there was no flat spotting. So
what was it sitting on? Concrete sucks moisture
pavement
out of
I
things.
think.
Yeah.
And from the pictures I remember seeing, Jeff.
Yeah. If you've got a gravel storage lot or even tarmac, you're okay. But
I think it was a blacktop tarmac.
Old fashioned concrete, man, you're asking for trouble.
And otherwise, heat can help get them back in round. Like for example, the sticky tires I've got in most of the cars when you drive in the summertime and it's hot, put it in the garage, and the next day, not summertime, like that cusp season where it's warm in the day and cool at night, and you go out in the morning and it's definitely click, but 3 miles later it's fine.
Yeah.
Keep pests away because critters can chew through anything, and no one wants that crap in the RV. Come on. So lightly scented dryer sheets can work. Shove those things everywhere. I also like to fill any potential holes with steel wool because it actually hurts their teeth to chew through. Jeff?
If you live in the Northeast and you have critters like I do, a box of mothballs thrown under your trailer will keep the critters from living under it.
Okay, great. But don't put them in the trailer because then it's just going to smell.
No.
It smells like grandma.
Yeah, it does. We have to do that all the time because my dogs are hunters. If a groundhog attempts to move in, that's just a bloody mess on our deck. So,
not so much with the trailers, but if you've got an RV, think about an RV cover. Yeah, they're a little expensive, and this is actually one of my purchases this year. But get one specifically tailored to RVs. They make them for Class C's, Class B's, whatever. There's a little bit of, they've got straps that'll adjust the size to it, but they'll fit your RV. Other covers like just the plastic tarps and stuff, they're going to trap moisture in there. That's going to be a problem. You want to secure it tightly. You don't want it blowing and flapping because that starts breaking stuff. And don't forget to cover the wheels. We're beating this up because number one damage is UV, and the covers are going to protect from UV rays, animal droppings, tree sap, all kinds of stuff. The other thing is your secondary batteries, and this does apply to trailers, those deep marine batteries, winter temperatures are bad news for all of those. So you're going to want to disconnect them, store them someplace climate controlled and cool. If you don't have a basement, just a corner of a closet or something like that. And then be sure you check and recharge the battery every couple of months so it doesn't die.
I like that. You mean like the house batteries in your RV or your trailer batteries? Cool. Fuel stabilizer. Gonna talk about fuel stabilizer. You may have it. You may throw it in your winter snow thrower in the spring and whatever. I never do that, but you definitely could do.
Who knew?
I just run them out of gas.
That is the best way to go.
I just run them until they die. But anyway, so yeah, if you do have the fuel stabilizer, you know why you use it. Fuel makes condensation makes water, which water in fuel does not mix, so it either rusts the lines or it causes water in your gosh dang gas tank, and you don't want that. So a full tank of gas sitting around for months isn't exactly ideal, so throw in the stabilizer. It also stops it from breaking down, turning into turpentine, which is always what they call it, but that's not really what it is.
I'm pretty sure I put stabilizer in the tank of the Citroen, and damn if you know, that 4-year-old gas worked this week.
Worked great. You also need to run whatever it is that you're stabilizing. If it's your RV, run your RV for a few minutes, your race car, because it has to get into the system. It has to mix with the gas, and then it has to get into the fuel lines, or else the stuff in all the fuel lines is going to go stale. So anyway, fuel stabilizer, definitely do it if you're looking for more than a couple of months off. Antifreeze. No, I don't mean in your motor. I assume you already have that. I mean in your RV's plumbing system. The gallon jug or 3-gallon jug that my father buys cost him like $20, and it does the entire RV. You follow the instructions in the book that you probably don't have a clue where it is in your RV, but generally you're going to get rid of all the water, and you're going to put the pink stuff, put the tube in the pink stuff, and you're going to run the faucets until the pink stuff comes out. And then in the spring, you fill it with clean water and run the pipes until the pink stuff comes out. A lot of people bypass the hot water heater because you don't want that shit boiling, and you can just actually empty the water heater with a little screw knobby thing. Bentel, you got your hand up.
Key to this, when he says antifreeze, it is specific for your plumbing system.
Yes, RV antifreeze.
This is RV interior antifreeze, not the same stuff you put in your engine.
Yes, because if you drink
I'll save $2 by going to Walmart.
It's not that expensive. Well, no, they sell it at Walmart. They sell the pink RV stuff. They sell everything in RV. But if you drink a little, it's not going to kill you.
Sure. If you winterize your house, this is the stuff you pour down the P traps in the toilet and the shower, and the ones that are not accessible too.
Yep.
Good to know.
And you actually do that with the RV when you do the RV, because you turn the tap on, and it goes into all the traps.
Anything more on RVs? You RV owners?
I think that's it. I think about shore power, but my dad doesn't have to remove his batteries. He keeps them running all weekend.
Yeah. And that's like I've got the shore power to the trailer that we've got with the deep cycle battery. I just put a quarter on that every couple of weeks just to keep it charged up. So.
Yep.
Okay, let's move on. Grills and propane tanks, because that's
who's going to talk about propane?
And propane accessories.
I was going to say propane safety, but go on, Chrissy.
It's all the above.
You're so excited.
I'm not excited. I'm not that excited. I'm just excited that you guys said that I should read this. Propane tanks.
I'm very excited.
Right? Okay. Propane tanks should not be stored in a shed, garage, basement, attic, or brought indoors for any reason. They should be in a dry, open, well-ventilated area outdoors, if possible. It is never safe to bring it. I changed this. It's never safe to bring a propane tank indoors. Never. There's never a time where you think all of the propane is out of the tank. It will never be empty. You'll think it's empty because it's not going to run something, but it will never be void of propane. Anyway, never leave propane tank in your vehicle, and it really shouldn't be kept in your trailer. Don't ask where ours is right now.
Mine are not in the trailer.
Good.
I take
Good. Good. We'll take ours out tomorrow.
And so you also shouldn't run it in the trailer to thaw your pig, right?
You should not. Propane, that was just the heater and the propane, and the doors were pretty much closed. So people could have died that night, and the tip pig was already dead. So what matters? But just leave it outside. And if you live in a snowy area, mark the location, know where it's going to be in case it gets buried. But hopefully you're not anywhere close to that. You're not clearing snow where your propane tank is. Put it in the corner of your house, or put it somewhere away from driving, because that seems like a great idea too. You can get tank boxes and waterproof covers. I didn't write this initially, but I did some research on them, and I don't actually think they're a great idea. I think you can do that, but I would just not, because you never know what tank you're getting from where, and what if it's leaking, has a small leak, this just could turn into a problem. So if you don't need a cover, I would not suggest you put a cover on it. That's just my thought. Don't keep it in your inside or a shed. We kind of talked about all this. There's a leak. It can contaminate everything, make it dangerous. Spark from anywhere or nothing, because sometimes you don't know where it comes from. Could ignite a propane leak, and that just messes everybody up, and then it becomes eventually actually my problem. So especially if it's in America, don't ignite your tank. Go ahead, Jeff.
I used to keep mine, my extra 20-pound cylinders, because I always have extra 20-pound cylinders, because my house ran on propane.
Yes, correct.
I had to keep it I had to keep a couple extra, in a space, and I would cover them with a tarp, not wrap them up tight, just whoosh, tarp over it like you would like a wood pile, because then when the snow landed on top of it, you couldn't find it. Right. So I'm definitely down for leave it somewhere where you can find it when you're in 2 feet of snow, especially if your house runs on it. But your old house,
right? There are boxes.
Okay.
They sell at Lowe's Depot or whatever, but I don't think it's a good idea.
They're like 99-cent tarp at the freaking.
Well, and you also had a ledge under your
deck.
And I think that's probably the best place to keep it, because it's going to stay out of the snow. It's going to be covered, but that much covering, especially over winter, is not going to your tank's not going to rust that quickly. So covering it, or it's just not going to help. So I think keep it under we have the same thing with our deck. It comes out a little bit. We call it our shed, but it's all open. I think that's the best place to put it. So yes, because if it has a small leak, then it's not a problem.
How the cylinders that are 100 pounds, they're like 5.5 feet tall, right?
Yep. Tall, skinny. Yep.
Tall, skinny size. You shouldn't put them in the back of a Protege 5 and drive miles to the refill depot.
And then they filled
on Thanksgiving weekend, right?
Oh, they should be fired. Except,
I love telling this story just because it angers you. Every year I bring it up, it angers you.
It doesn't anger me. It just makes me these are the calls we get. I wake up tomorrow and they're like, "Hey, guess what happened last night?" Yeah, some guy brought it, and then some other person that we can't control filled your tank, and now it exploded, and now you're dead.
The guy said to me, "You probably shouldn't be doing that."
Right?
And this is not our opinion. Chrissy is a safety professional, and when she said, when you do something stupid, there is a 60% chance it's going to end up being her problem. Don't be.
At least I'm going to hear about it. I'm absolutely going to hear about it, because somebody's going to be like, "Where's the training records on that guy?" And I'll be like, "Hold on a second. Let me call my guy. Find out. Oh, look, he wasn't trained. Oh, now it's my problem." Anyway, yeah. Keep it, if you want to keep it in your grill, put a tarp on your grill. That's fine, especially because it's not going to come to the bottom. You're still going to have air that's going to flow through underneath your grill. And it shouldn't rust over the winter. It shouldn't be that bad.
There it is. I feel like this is just the tip, but we're not yet there at just the tip.
Well, I thought the same, and then I'm trying to figure out what we're going to do. A small just the tip. It's more of a PSA. We also didn't. I think we said it here, but make sure that you wash your.
Isn't just the tip really by definition small? Because you're not getting.
Oh, maybe your just the tip is.
Anyway, this says grills and propane tanks, which grills are minimal on this. I'm going to add, make sure you wash your grill, which we need to do. Get the grill, the flat top out, because we thought we were going to race and then we didn't. So we need to wash that. So it's things like that. If you have a grill that was in your trailer, we should make sure we wash it.
Yeah. I recently got the new little bubble cover for my trailer.
Yes.
I have not yet put it on, but this is also the time, if you have a leak in your trailer, you got to fix that crap, because you do not want a wet wooden floor all winter or a wet race car all winter.
No.
You'll be replacing the floor.
Yes. That'll suck.
De-skankifying the race car.
Does anyone have anything else on winter storage of gear and things?
If we missed anything, or you got a handy tip,
I love that.
Reach out to us on one of our social medias.
Chrissy.
Well, we talked about race cars, but I was just thinking bringing tires down we keep our tires in our basement. So if you have some good tires, put them down your basement.
And wrap them in a garbage bag too. Keeps moisture out, keeps UV out.
I don't have any UV in my basement, I don't think. Chris is talking, but nobody cares because we can't hear him because his microphone is off
fine.
again.
If you're in the basement, especially if a basement with no windows, there's no UV, really. But
he lives in Vegas. That UV gets everywhere.
we don't have a basement either.
Yeah, exactly. We don't do
All
basement.
the above.
Yeah.
All right, so we're going to do just a tip.
Johnson tip! Go.
Great.
Okay, we're having a quick PSA about fire extinguishers. So after watching the F1 race and finding that the corner workers use their fire extinguishers to get Roman out, they may have saved him. I'm sure they saved him from some more serious burns. So fire extinguishers should not be used to save someone, typically, unless you're in the racetrack, that's different. But in your house, it's to get out. So use the fire extinguisher to get out of a room, get out of the house safely. But they can only be helpful if they're charged. So make sure you find your fire extinguishers. Do it soon. Look around your house, figure out where all your fire extinguishers are, and make sure that they're fully charged. They can easily become discharged by just sitting in one place, especially in the back of under your sink or wherever they sit. They can just, by sitting there, become a lump and not be usable.
Can I say something? Pin.
Yes.
Look at the pin.
Does it have a pin?
Is the pin out? Does it have a pin? Is the pin like zip tied to the body because that is the way it was delivered by the manufacturer and it says remove this for storage? You know, because the pin stops it. The zip tie just stops the pin from rattling out when it's in the truck. So, you know.
And most of us are not breaking a zip tie.
No, and then when there's a fire, you'd be like, where did I put those scissors? Chris, where's the scissors? Yeah,
and then like the fire is going and you're trying to get the scissor like inside the
scissors? Why do you need scissors for a fire? Get a fire extinguisher.
I know that the scissors put out the fire. I need the scissors. Anyway, there it is.
Do it. See, after all of this, that sounds crazy. So you should probably just go figure it out. Make sure you don't have one of those. And lastly, make sure that you and your family know where they're housed and how to use it. So don't forget, pass. Pull the pin, aim it, squeeze it, sweep it. And it might not be a bad thing to practice, especially if you have, as you're looking at all of your fire extinguishers, bring your family along. Look at them all. Tell them what they're looking at. Teach them what they're doing, and then teach them how to use it. Go ahead, Chris.
Do this not just in your house, but in your race trailer and RV, because it is likely that at some point in the seasons, some drunk fool has bumped into your fire extinguisher or knocked it over, and it only discharged a little, so they didn't say anything, and they put it back, right? So
Mental is laughing like he is responsible for this.
He's seen it. He's seen it happen somewhere. Like it's totally
it
a thing.
happened. Did it happen?
Oh yeah, it totally happened. So, but it's happened way more than just to us. So check that, because you have no idea.
If you've actually, even just a little bit used the thing on a fire extinguisher, now there is a slow leak and it will lose all of its propellant. And then you'll go to grab it and nothing will work. We actually have policies on that on the aircraft carrier. If you use a fire extinguisher, you have to tag it, put a garbage bag over it, and then store it upside down. And that way you identify that fire extinguisher needs to be recertified.
Nice.
Great.
Yeah. You don't just throw it out the window.
Yeah, we roll it down 30,000 feet. Woohoo!
That won't hurt anybody when it lands. I feel like we've already said this, but I have to say it because it's tradition. Do we have any idea what we're doing for the show next week?
For once we do. Holy crap.
Oh, and I'm so excited about this show. And you get one, and you get one, and you get one.
And if Chrissy gives away Pontiac G6s, we're going to have our world famous E1R
I'm
holiday
so
gift
glad
guide.
you remembered what kind of car that was.
You know, at this point, G6s are the kind of thing you can buy for all your friends. It's not a big deal, actually.
Nobody wants them. No,
Right.
I'm okay.
Tune in to the Houston Lemons Race wrap up because we'll be talking about a G6.
Oh, fantastic. So it's our holiday gift giving guide. What to get the gearhead in your life, or what you want to ask for but don't know it yet. We're gonna have a lot of links.
Oof, we got to do some research on that one.
I already started, and I
have thoughts, but I haven't written any notes yet. All right, let's get to the end of the show. Thank you for downloading us. We hope you enjoyed this week's storage edition of Everyone Racers. We hope you'll join us in the world of driving, racing, and building, because everyone can be a racer, even you. If you enjoyed this podcast, totally subscribe, because it's totally free, and totally go to iTunes and totally give us a 5-star rating. And if you're watching us on YouTube's, hit the subscribe button, and down there in the doodly-doo, say something to us. Even if you hate us, talk to us, tell us why. If you have any questions or show ideas, drop a comment on our Facebook page, Everyone Racers, or email us at everyone.racers@gmail.com. Find us on the Instagram or the Twit space, or text us 484-253-0455. Mental, any text this week?
Not this week, but that's okay.
Okay. Fine. So thanks again, and until next time, keep the tires down, unless it's the winter. Pick them up just a little bit.